There's a movement among the islands right now to quit talking about sustainability and talk about thriving. And the reason we're talking about thriving is because we're feeling empowered. And just the fact that we got GMO free in San Juan County, people have turned around and said, oh, maybe we do have some power in this world after all. Yes, there is a movement and an energy that's coming out of this entire area to take care of our lives better, to take responsibility for our lives. And one of the issues we're using is GMO free, but you'll find that there's going to be others.
It was really a grassroots effort that came about mostly through petitioning, and there was enough support, and then it got on the ballot and people overwhelmingly supported it.
Well, some of the struggles that we came across were specific to our county. We're a county of islands, so running the campaign was a little difficult because each island really has its own specific issues, its own specific ways of communicating, its own politics. So it was trying. I can't divide myself in three.
There needed to be somebody within the culture, the farming community on San Juan Island that had the time and wanted to participate in getting the GMO ban initiated.
As the election was approaching, one thing that we were able to do here that I think was pretty effective to just start a conversation with our customers about the subject of genetic modification in food.
On San Juan Island, because I spent so much of my time as a commissioner over there at the county seat, I knew a lot of the folks there and arranged for a meeting with some of the community leaders that I knew there.
In the end, there was 2 mailers that were sent out by the Washington Farm Bureau, I believe it was. But other than that, there wasn't a lot. That was really the only opposition that came from off island.
They said, you know, we've been crossbreeding plants forever, but people don't understand that we're not talking about simple crossbreeding. We're talking about taking genes from one species and putting in another.
I think most people, if they knew that fish DNA has been implanted into tomatoes, they wouldn't want to eat that tomato.
They said they wanted to feed the world, that it would help feed the world. That's never been the real basis for GMO.
The GMO traits that have been introduced are herbicide resistance and plants that produce their own pesticides. So any increases in production are actually due to traditional breeding practices.
I think it just made a lot of sense to people out here. It was kind of a no-brainer. It was like, yeah, of course we want to do that, you know, and we can, and why not?
I like to support organically grown produce primarily because out of love for the planet. I want to support growers who are trying to keep a healthy environment for the birds and the bees and the microorganisms of the soil.
You know, that's the cool part about farming. You put a seed in the ground, you get to eat. It's like very direct. Where if you go to an office, you work on a computer all day, and then you get a paycheck, and then you go to a grocery store. Big disconnect. We were an agricultural species that has gotten way far away from what feeds us and who we really are.
Who's done the due diligence? Who's tested the resilience of that crop and how it interacts with other systems? Basically, we're talking about a system that's evolved to the point where it's essentially not asking the holistic questions that need to be asked.
Will the GMO ban in San Juan County spur other communities to do the same? And I really hope that it does, and I think it will give people hope in other parts of the country that say, you know, hey, they did it out here, we can do it in our community.
I know there are many, many more people who feel this way, but the world will not change unless you're willing to stand up.